claims by Argentinian officials with respect to fishing in the waters surrounding the Falkland Islands, including an accusation that islanders were guilty of any illegal activity, an expert in the history of the remote archipelago has said. Graham Pascoe, who has just published his book, Falklands Facts and Fallacies, was responding to remarks by Eduardo Pucci, the Organization for the Protection of Fishery Resources, OPRAS. A piece published on the website of Telem, the official Argentinian government news agency, last week claimed illegal fishing cost the country up to £1.5 billion annually. In the piece, Mr. Pucci criticized predators that exploit resources without respecting processes, cycles or regulations. He added, "Illegal fishing has three components: the illegal fishing itself, which is carried out in the absence of permits, the unreported, and the unregulated. In adjacent waters, the only ones that comply with the rules are Argentine vessels, the rest violate the duty of cooperation, the ecosystem principle and responsible fishing, without taking into account any conservation measure." Mr. Pucci's remarks echo those of Carlos Liberman, Under-Secretary of Fisheries and Aquaculture, who told Telem recently the fight against illegal fishing is an absolute priority. Mr. Liberman cited that which occurs in Malvinas waters as an example. However, Mr. Pascoe, whose book seeks to refute what he characterizes as the bogus history of the islands as set out in the 2016 book Las Malvinas entre el Derecho y la Historia, by Marcelo Cohen and Facundo Rodriguez, was unimpressed. He told Express, "It's not true that the fishing referred to in Falklands waters is illegal, as Argentina constantly asserts. The territorial waters and exclusive economic zone, EEZ, belong to the coastal state, i.e. the Falklands, not Argentina. So it's not illegal in international law, but only in Argentine national law." He added, "There is no depredation of the seas by the Falklanders Islanders. In fact, the Falklands fishery is one of the most strictly managed fisheries in the world and meets or exceeds all international environmental, sustainability and ecological standards. And that fishing is not basically done by the Falkland Islanders, but by foreign vessels, mainly Spanish, Korean and Taiwanese, holding licenses from the Falkland Islands government. Only Falkland Islands regulations laid down by the Falkland Islands government are enforced around the Falklands, and only British regulations are enforced around South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands. Argentina has no presence in those areas and exerts no enforcement." Mr. Pascoe said Mr. Pucci's claims about vessels failing to comply with regulations were nonsense. He said, "All fishing carried out in Falklands, South Georgia and South Sandwich waters meets the very highest international standards. The Falklands are a British overseas territory, with a population of just over 3,200. Argentina, led by Peronist President Alberto Fernández, has signaled its intention to press its sovereignty claim in recent weeks. A referendum on the issue of sovereignty in 2013 resulted in 99.8%, 1,513, voting in favour of the Falklands retaining its British links, with 92% of those eligible to vote doing so. Just 3 people voted against the idea, with 2 invalid ballots.